Happy New Year and welcome to NVentures Asia Pacific Upstream Roundup for the second half of 2025 and a brief look at the end at some of the key wells to watch this year. Kicking off with exploration drilling, the number of wells drilled in the region compared with the first half of 2025 remained consistent with virtually the same number of wells spud and discoveries made, and also with a success rate around 36%. In Indonesia, Eni made a significant gas discovery with Konta 1 in the Kutai Basin, offshore East Kalimantan, and a modest gas discovery was made by EMP with East Wellanga 1 on the Sulawesi Island. In Australia, ConocoPhillips discovered gas and condensate with Essington 1 in the Otway Basin. And in the Philippines, Prime Energy continues to drill Malampaya East, which has been disrupted by typhoons. Now I'll highlight some of the notable license changes. There were two new awards in Indonesia. Meanwhile, Repsol completed its exit from APAC, selling its operated interests in two Indonesia blocks to Medco. Harbour Energy also exited two blocks in the West and East Natuna basins. In November, Eni and Petronas announced they would establish an independent company under equal ownership by combining their respective upstream assets in Indonesia and Malaysia. In the Philippines, 6 new blocks were awarded throughout the country, notably 3 to Triangle Energy, with 2 offshore in a consortium. And in Myanmar, there were 3 new onshore PSCs awarded. Meanwhile, in Australia, Woodside agreed to assume operatorship of the Bass Strait assets from ExxonMobil, which will continue to be a partner. In addition, Eni strengthened its position in the Bonaparte Basin, acquiring Santos' stakes in the undeveloped Petrel and Tern fields. Looking at bid round activity in APAC, Indonesia and Malaysia have continued their regular bid rounds through 2025, with Indonesia launching its latest round in late December. Indonesia is also planning at least 2 bid rounds per year through 2027, with many under joint study agreements prior to award. The deadline for the remaining 2 blocks in Malaysia's 2025 bid rounds closes in April. Awards are pending from Thailand's first onshore round since 2021, where applications have been received, and 2 blocks are open in Brunei with a deadline on the 9th of January. Meanwhile, despite Cambodia opening all of its unlicensed blocks in May last year, there have still been no new awards to date. In Australasia, New Zealand lifted its ban on new exploration permits. A new open market application pathway has been introduced to allocate new permits. The first permit under the new scheme is expected to be awarded to independent NZ Energy later this month off the coast of South Taranaki. Meanwhile, Australia opened 5 blocks in the offshore Otway Basin in an effort to increase supply and lower domestic gas price. And looking ahead, Papua New Guinea is looking at a bid round in the Gulf of Papua potentially later this year. And finally, looking ahead to some of the wells to watch this year, in Timor-Leste, Sunder Energy plans to drill the long-awaited Chudich 2 appraisal, targeting around 1 TCF of mean contingent resources. In Indonesia, Eni is planning further wells in the Kutai Basin, which have been de-risked by Konta 1. Drilling will continue in the waters south of Victoria in the Otway Basin, following ConocoPhillips, with Amplitude Energy planning to drill at least 3 wells this year. Prime Energy is planning the delayed Bagong Perkasa 1 north of Malampaya in the Philippines after its Malampaya East 1 well is completed. And in Vietnam, Pharos Energy is planning a well in Block 125, though this may be delayed with a farm out yet to be wrapped up. And finally, the most anticipated well in the region is Total Energy's Melu 1 well, which is off the frontier southeast of Papua New Guinea and has a resource potential in the billion barrel of oil equivalent range. Thank you for watching, and if you'd like to get in touch about how we can help with exploration intelligence and new ventures in APAC or other regions, please do get in touch.